What is going good, fellas, and welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. My name is Marvin, and on today's video I am reacting to some information about every state in the US. It's a very interesting video. I just watched the first 1 minute. Very nice video, so stay tuned, and I would say we hop right into that video. Let's go.
This is Every State in the U.S. by Wendover Productions and made possible by the Great Courses Plus. We'll start with Alabama,
with
the first state alphabetically. Magnolia Springs, Alabama is the only town in America to have their mail delivered by boat. Although the longest mail delivery route in America
that would be interesting to know
Oklahoma,
if it is a little bit more expensive because it's with the boat.
187.6 miles each day to deliver the mail to around 200 houses. Oklahoma's state vegetable is the watermelon, which happens to be a fruit. And Oklahoma is also home to Kansas.
Yeah, this is something.
The real Kansas, or more specifically this point, is the geographic center of the contiguous United States. What Kansas is not home to is
Kansas
City,
not make
which
any sense in my opinion.
Is in Missouri, where the population center of the
that
US
would be also interesting to know why it is, or why.
Missouri borders 8 states, and
why
is
this
therefore
happened
tied with
like
Tennessee as the state that borders the most other states. Tennessee was a southern state that seceded from the United States and joined the Confederacy, except for Scott County, which seceded from Tennessee and formed the unrecognized independent state. Scott County didn't actually officially rejoin Tennessee until 1986. Tennessee's western border was originally defined by the course of the Mississippi River, which has since changed course, which has led to all these enclaves and exclaves of the two states on the two sides of the river. The Arkansas River, a major tributary of the Mississippi,
this is also something new that I did not know, that the Arkansas River is so part of the Mississippi River.
Or Mount Massive, since their heights are within 10 feet of each other, and people keep building piles of rocks on the summits to make one mountain taller than the other. Colorado is also home to America's longest continuous street, Colfax Avenue in Denver, at 26 miles long. But the shortest individually named street in America is reportedly
you differentiate between roads
Ohio,
and streets, because I think Route 66
Ohio's
is
northernmost point
miles long,
of Canada's
just straight.
Peely Island. Peely Island, Canada,
but it's not a street, it's a road.
Is farther south than parts of 27 states, including California, which as a state has a higher population than the entire country of Canada. Los Angeles, California, despite being on the Pacific Ocean, is east of 6 state capitals, including Nevada's. Nevada has the point.
Hey, open up a McDonald's here. No, just kidding. I think when you want to have a good KPI on McDonald's, take the inhabitants in your area code or around the area codes, and then how many potential customers you have.
Experts wasn't technically a state until 2012. Since their constitution was missing
sometimes
this
law is so
which meant
crazy.
It didn't fulfill the federal requirement for statehood. Despite having the fewest McDonald's, North Dakota is not America's least populated state. That's Wyoming, which has 2 sets of escalators in the entire state.
Hey, I thought Wyoming has a very great landscape, and I thought that they actually have a little bit more inhabitants than the least populated
with the 6th Amendment, if you're placed on trial, it's required that you are judged by a jury of your peers, which means individuals from the same state and federal district as where the crime was committed. Yellowstone is its own federal district, meaning you need residents from Yellowstone to be on the jury. Although if you were in the Idaho part, you need Yellowstone residents from Idaho to be on the jury. Except this 50 square mile section is entirely uninhabited, so they wouldn't be able to form a jury, which means you'd walk free.
Amazing.
There's
the
also
landscape in the US,
connecting the entire southern section of Idaho
nowhere in the
section.
world a
Idaho,
landscape
with its
that is so diversified
as one single telephone area code for the whole state, just like neighboring Montana. Montana is home to the least busy commercial airport in the US, Dawson Community Airport, at 4,000 passengers per year, or about
11 a day?
Missoula, Montana is also home to the warehouse of
but
DFCBA,
actually there is
where you can buy one of these
nearly nothing in that state, so
t-shirts for only
I don't
$20.
see any tourists going to that state.
The busiest airport in America is Atlanta's, at 49 million passengers per year, or 135,000 per day. Peachtree, a suburb of Atlanta, is a community that has 90 miles of golf cart specific roads adjacent to its normal roads, since 9,000 families here have golf carts as their second cars.
This is very cool.
Even encouraged to drive to school
I'm jealous, I really am.
In their golf carts. Georgia,
imagine driving to school with a golf cart. That would be sick.
200-mile-long Appalachian Trail, which is a hiking trail that terminates all the way up at Mount Katahdin, Maine. Maine is the only state in America to only border one other state, and it's also the closest state to Africa.
This is crazy.
Seriously, it's closer than Florida. The second closest state to Africa is Massachusetts, or more specifically, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which is technically an island, since a man-made canal separates it from the mainland. Massachusetts is actually farther from Miami than Panama City is. And Miami is closer to the country capitals of Nassau, Bahamas, and Havana, Cuba, than its own state capital, Tallahassee.
This makes my head wobbling. I don't know. And even the main part, maybe it is an island that is part of Africa
South Dakota is home to
that they are taking the line to. I don't know.
United States, if you include Alaska and Hawaii. And it was made a state a mere 9 days before Washington, which was called Columbia before it became a state. Its name was changed as to not confuse it with the District of Columbia, but obviously that didn't work out since DC City ended up being called Washington. Washington Place is the official residence of Hawaii's governor, and Hawaii was given its own unique currency during World War II that was its only legal tender, so that, in case the Japanese successfully invaded Hawaii, the federal government could declare all of Hawaii's currency worthless to prevent the Japanese from using it.
Makes sense.
The closest state to Hawaii is Alaska, whose capital, Juneau, has no roads connecting it with the rest of Alaska or North America, meaning you can't drive in or out. Alaska is also one of the 4 states that completely bans outdoor billboards, along with Hawaii, Maine, and Vermont, whose tallest building is only 11 stories
11
tall.
stories?
That's the shortest,
this is
tallest
something
building
that you
of
see
any
in
state.
each
The
a
tallest
little bit
building
bigger
in the
state
States is
here.
Freedom Tower in New York. New
I mean,
York
this
is home
is
to
not
Ellis
really
Island,
high.
or at least part of it. Their territory is completely surrounded by New Jersey, similar to Liberty Island, home to
these
the Statue of
informations on the
Liberty,
video
which is
just
completely
insane, really.
surrounded by New Jersey waters, which means you need to travel through New Jersey to get from New York to New York. Clinton Road in West Milford, New Jersey has America's longest red light, a full 5-minute wait.
Pissed off.
New Jersey
Imagine waiting 5 minutes on the red light.
Farther south than Kentucky's northernmost point. In its southwest corner, Kentucky has a rather large piece of territory that's not actually connected to the rest of Kentucky. Kentucky was the birthplace of Lincoln, who was later elected to the Illinois House of Representatives, and in Illinois is the original Burger King. But it's not the Burger King you're thinking of. This Burger King existed before this Burger King, and therefore sued Burger King when they came to Illinois for trademark infringement and won. So now no Burger King is allowed to operate within a 20-mile radius
This is also a nice fact.
Original Burger King. Chicago, Illinois, America's
so I think there's
city,
a little bit less competition for that Burger King, for the original Burger King than
Texas. And Texas
Burger King
is so
that we know
enormous that El
nowadays.
Paso, Texas is closer to Los Angeles than it is to Houston, Texas. Texas's northernmost point is also closer to Michigan than it is to its southernmost point. From Detroit, Michigan, you actually end up in Canada if you travel due south. And Michigan is the only state to be made of 2 entirely separated sections. Michigan's Highway 185 is actually a bike path, making it the only official highway in America where cars are banned. Michigan's Upper Peninsula is also only connected by land to Wisconsin, which is home to the Green Bay Packers, a team so popular that the waiting list for season tickets is 30 years long. It's so long that it's common for parents to put their kid's name on the list as soon as they're born. In Watertown, Wisconsin,
that is a
Utah Street,
crazy
but
fan
the
base
real
out
Utah
there.
has the longest section of
They are
interstate
really
in the
proud
US
of the Packers.
with no gas stations. 106 miles
30
on
years
I-70.
waiting.
I-70 ends over 2,000 miles away in Baltimore, Maryland, and the entire state of Maryland has 0 natural lakes. It also has this panhandle that reaches a minimum width of 1.8 miles before expanding back out to 30 miles width out near West Virginia, which is definitively a southern state, but also has this panhandle that reaches as far north as New York City and Nebraska. Minowi, Nebraska is the only incorporated municipality in the United States
These
that has a
geographical
population
facts are
of 1.
crazy,
The
really.
one resident, Elsie Eiler, is mayor and runs the library and tavern, which is granted a liquor license every year by Elsie herself. Tortilla Flat, Arizona is 6 times larger than Minowi since it has 6 residents, and Arizona also has 1/4 of the Four Corners Monument, the only point where 4 states meet in the US. Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico, which as a state,
for me,
by
as
law,
somebody
still
who's not born in the
Pluto
US
as a
and
planet. New Mexico is
just
typically
went
the
there
last
twice,
state to vote in
there
presidential
are so many
primaries,
states,
whereas Iowa
and
is
for
usually
me,
the first.
it's
Iowa
just
is
the
only
linear
state
and
in the
put some
US
lines
whose
around it,
eastern
and it's
and
more or
western
less
borders are both water.
the
In
most
this case,
part
rivers.
of how
The
the
eastern border is the Mississippi
states are
River,
created. And
which
then you
happens to be
just
the
have
namesake
one
for
point with
Mississippi.
4
The Mississippi River also
With 4
flowed
quarters
backwards
of
for a full
Atlantis is
24
crazy.
hours in 2012 during Hurricane Isaac. But the Mississippi doesn't actually reach the ocean in Mississippi. It does so in Louisiana, home to the longest bridge over water in the world at 24 miles. That's so long that for 8 of those miles, you can't even see land on either side. One of the other longest bridges in the US is in North Carolina, the Virginia Dare Memorial Bridge, which carries cars out to Kitty Hawk, where the Wright brothers successfully flew a heavier-than-air aircraft for the first time in history. It was a 12-second, 120-foot flight. That's shorter than the wingspan of a Boeing 747. North Carolina's southern neighbor is South Carolina, although South Carolina isn't all that south, since more than half of it is north of North Carolina's southernmost point, and South Carolina also has a town called North.
What? How confusing do you want to be?
South Carolina
American
was the site
geography?
of the first Civil War battle,
Yes.
and the Civil War ended up having a total of 1 battle over in Indiana, where the Indy 500 Speedway is, which is so enormous that you could comfortably fit the entire country of the Vatican inside it. It can also fit 400,000 people, which is the highest capacity of any sports arena in the world. Indiana's state beverage is water, while Oregon's is milk. Portland, Oregon is also home to the world's smallest park, according to the Guinness World Records book, Mill End Park. Oregon is also one of the few states to not have a sales tax, along with New Hampshire, the only state to have no law requiring adults to wear seatbelts. Connecticut Lake, in New Hampshire, is the source of the Connecticut River, which is what Connecticut, the state, is named after. Hartford, Connecticut's airport, at less than 3 million passengers per year, is the smallest airport in the US to have a direct flight to Europe. Delaware, on the other hand, certainly doesn't have a direct flight to Europe, since it's the only state that you can't fly to. There's not one commercial flight in or out of this tiny state.
Yeah, maybe you
it's
just
the
go
second smallest state behind Rhode
to a
Island,
bigger one
which
and
is
then
so small
rent a
that
car
the
and then
entire
drive to
state
Delaware.
grows by 3% during low tide. Rhode Island's second largest city, Warwick, shares its name with Warwick, Pennsylvania, and in Pennsylvania is Centralia, where the ground has been on fire since 1962 due to a coal mine fire, and it's expected to burn for over 200 years. Pennsylvania borders Minnesota. Well, not really, but Pennsylvania Avenue does intersect Minnesota Avenue in DC, and Minnesota is home to the northernmost point in the lower 48. You see, most of the US-Canada border is defined by the 49th parallel, but a
more or
surveying
less
error
in
led to
Canadian
this.
country
The
that
couple hundred
still
residents of this
belongs
area,
to Minnesota.
called the Northwest Angle, are completely cut off from the US and need to pass into Canada and back into the United States to go to school.
Hey, this is
also
so
in northern
confusing.
Minnesota is Virginia, the town, but Virginia, the state, is massive. So massive that Ewing, Virginia is closer to 8 other state capitals than to its own state capital, Richmond. Alexandria, Virginia is actually closer to Toronto, Canada than it is to Ewing, Virginia. Virginia also happens to go farther west than West Virginia. Virginia is also home to this place, the headquarters of the teaching company who run the Great Courses Plus.
Okay guys, that was the video about every state in the US. I'm confused than ever before about the geography, about the sense behind it, about how they built or how they made each state a state and how they come to all these borders. This is so confusing, also with the cities named after other states, and states are named like cities in other states, and what? I'm really confused, but an amazing video. I really liked it. There was a lot of good facts. I hope you guys also enjoyed it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos of me reacting to things. You can also influence the content by sharing your ideas in the videos in the comment section. And yeah, with everything being said, thanks for watching that video and wish you guys all a great day and a great week. Goodbye. See you next time.